Welcome back to another edition of the Chris Rocket Podcast. I am Chris Rocket. Um, we got the baseball playoffs in high gear. We had just completed another great week, another great sports week. Just excited to be here. This is a time of year where a lot of sports are just now opening up. You got the NBA next week. You got hockey already in gear. Shout out to my Stars. We finally won a game. We're 1-2. First game, shot a shitload of shots. Couldn't get past Fleury. But I like our activity, man. I like our activity offensively. We got to get a little better on the defensive end, which was my problem coming into this season. But offensively, we're keeping the puck in our zone, man. We're scrappy. We gotta keep digging. We gotta keep going, but we gotta stop the other squad. We gave up a shorthanded goal. We got to do better on power play. We got to do it all. But it's early. I'm gonna give them a shot. Right around game 20, I can really get a good assessment about my team. But my Stars won against the Red Wings of all people. So that's also happy to be a rival. I don't know if they even rivals anymore. But back in the early 2000s, man, it was the Red Wings and the Avalanche. And then of course down the line it became Edmonton, and then down the line it became the Canucks. So of course always great to beat the Red Wings, but very eventful week this week. We're gonna talk about baseball. We got the ALCS is set, and then we got the Dodgers sweeping the Diamondbacks, and then we got the Cubs Nationals. We're gonna talk about baseball first, and then I'm gonna get into some football news. Before we get, we're gonna talk about the predictions later on. We're gonna get into some football news in this first segment. Just really get into the intangible shit in this first segment right here. But first, we're gonna cover a little baseball right quick. All right, so we have the ALCS fully set. You got the Yankees going against Houston Astros. Houston easily took care of the Boston Red Sox, beating them 3-1. Really solid pitching from the Astros. Verlander with a quality start, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs in game 1. You had Dallas Keuchel coming in game 2 with 5 2/3 and an earned run and 7 strikeouts. I mean, this team right here. Then you had Tommy hitting from Springer, from of course Altuve. When you get timely hits out of your top 4, top 5 of your lineup, it's always going to help. And it also helps to score runs that help out your pitchers. And I think you look at Boston. Chris Sale struggled. Pomeranz struggled a lot. Giving up 4 earned runs in 2 innings. You take advantage of those opportunities, put runs on the board, help your aces, help your second starter. Well, Keuchel can easily be, he was your starter before Verlander came, so essentially you have 2 aces. So, you give any one of those pitchers 4 or 5 runs, let alone 8, that's going to give you a great chance to win. Houston is freaking balling right now. Then you got the New York Yankees. They took care of Cleveland. New York actually came down from an 0-2 deficit, man. Came back and just, dominated at the very end. I remember, going into the divisional series, I was like, damn, do the wild card teams have a disadvantage by playing that wild card game? That way you pretty much, like, by the time the series starts, you're already without your ace for game 1. I guess the Yankees pretty much, were the exception of that. Yes, they lose game 1 and game 2, but they get back on track. They win the game, and I think, this is what makes baseball so fucking great, because, you can you can have games like this, and then flip the switch, get back on track, refocus, and the ALCS is going to be very interesting. You have two very offensive powerhouses, man. Houston got much better pitching. I just think for New York Yankees, man, they got to rely a lot on their offense. Yankees have the better bullpen, so this is gonna be a great series. I guess for this series, I can actually pick. It's gonna be hard, man, but the starting pitching to me is the key in playoffs, and especially in the championship series. Verlander, he's been there, done that. So I'm gonna go with Houston. Series, that's yet to be determined, but I am gonna pick Houston to go to the World Series. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be huge for that city, man. Just seeing what they went through this year with the Hurricane Harvey, and then all of a sudden, man, you hosted a World Series game in the same year, man. It'll bring really, really great morale to that city. And as far as the Yankees, man, this will be how many people expected them to come this far? Damn good year. I mean, of course, the fucking series ain't over. I'm just saying. But, I didn't pick them to come this far. And then you got Cleveland. What do you do there? I guess that's yet to be determined. They get one more piece on that pitching staff. I think they can go a lot further. They got a lot of young pieces on that team. Francisco Lindor. Everything is there. They need to put that shit all together. I think they'll be fine. They bounced back well from the previous year, so I think they'll be just fine. And then of course in the NL, the Dodgers, they swept. They're just sitting there being ready to face the winner of the Chicago Cubs Washington National Series. So that's tied 2-2. Winner take all. Winner goes to face the Dodgers. I picked Washington in this series. For me, the Cubs, they're yet to score more than 3 runs. 3-3, 2-0. And then you got the Nationals. They scored 5 more runs twice in this series. I picked the Nationals. I'm gonna stick with them. Either way, both of these teams have great pitching, great starting pitching, great pitching all the way around. I like Washington a little bit better, but offensively, the Cubs are more superior. But like I said, man, pitching, you need pitching in the playoffs, man. Pitching gets you very far, and it's a great neutralizer for great hitting, great offense. So I'm going to be watching that game really closely, man, because that's going to be a really good game. It might go to extra innings, because you this is for all the marbles. So they're gonna have some aces getting ready to come in the bullpen and close the game out. But yeah, really, this is what I like, man. October, this means playoff baseball in high gear. You know what I'm saying? ALCS, and you got the Cubs and Nationals, man. This might be one of the bigger games, in past 4 or 5 years, because this, past 5 years, 6 years, it's been sort of like, okay, this team made it, but they don't have a chance. These two teams right here, the Cubs and the Nationals, man, this is a real classic type shit right here. But of course, I'm going to pick the Nationals. All right, so NFL news. Adrian Peterson was traded to the Arizona Cardinals for a 2018 6th-round pick. Everybody saw at least, the Saints, doing away with Adrian Peterson. They didn't know which, probably, cut him or trade him. But he got traded to the Arizona Cardinals. And the way I feel about this is, I don't know. Of course, for Arizona, it's like, you got nothing to lose. You pay him $700,000 for the rest of the year, so you're not losing there financially. Skill-wise, to me, you had Chris Johnson, knows the offense, been there already. Was this is like his third year in Arizona? So, I mean, of course, if things don't work out, you can always pick him back up because that's exactly what they did. When the preseason was over, they cut him and David Johnson came over, and then David Johnson got hurt, and they picked back up Chris Johnson. So I get Chris Johnson is sitting there waiting, getting his name called back up again. But Adrian Peterson on this offense that can't protect Carson Palmer to save his life, barely can run the ball, an offense that needs a receiving running back. Adrian Peterson's career high in catches is, I think it's like 43. And then everything else is like 36. And then everything else is like 20 and below. I think this is Adrian Peterson's 12th year, 11th year, maybe 9th year. I don't know. But he's been over 30 catches twice. So that's not ideal. Some people say he can't catch. I think he can catch. I just think he just runs it better. When you run it better, why catch it? The offensive line is banged up. Jared Vale here, who is arguably the best offensive lineman, is banged up. I don't know, man. In a division where you have Seattle, who you got Sheldon Rich, you got the 49ers, even the 49ers, you got Solomon Thomas, you got Jason Smith, you got the freaking who else is out there? The Rams. Even the Rams. You saw what they did to Ezekiel Elliott. You basically go from, and if you look at the NFC South, other than the Panthers, say what you want about Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy is a pretty good run stopper, but that's it. He basically went to a division that's even more better against the run. So as far as him thinking that I'm in a better situation, I don't think so, man. And to be quite honest, yeah, he's gonna get his carries. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of success. You're probably looking at a lot of like 12 carry, 48-ish, 40-ish yards, right around that 3.7, 4 yards a carry. You won't see 5 yards a carry. He might break out against San Francisco, probably 20-yard run here and there, but he's gonna get his carries. I don't think he's gonna get any success. I'd be surprised if he have a 100-yard game. Not to say that his skills are declining. I'm just saying that you got better defense in the NFC West. So that was interesting. I mean, it had to be done, but be careful what you ask for, I guess, because you're not going to get much better in that division because that division is much tougher against the run. But I hope I'm wrong. AP is a future Hall of Famer in my opinion. But that situation, and then when you really look at it, man, like, what was his? What were you thinking? I'm pretty sure he had a lot more suitors than that, but you decided to go to New Orleans. Knowing that Mark Ingram was the feature back. I know we're in a league where two guys can carry the load, 175 carries apiece in some cases, but you got to go on a squad where you're gonna be the man. I'm pretty sure there's 5 or 6 teams that'll want him, like the Giants for one. And speaking of the Giants, there was an interesting take on NFL Network where it was how people just kind of ponder trades. Some of the time it don't make sense. Shout out to Bill Simmons. He does one of the most impossible trades ever. But when he talks, it just makes it interesting. But there was a legit trade possibility, and it was Eli Manning being traded to Jacksonville. And I thought about it. And I was like, well, shit. That kind of makes sense. You know, never mind the fact that Tom Coughlin is there and, you know, that's his guy. But Jacksonville clearly needs, like, a bridge to something better. Eli probably has, you know, 3 or 4 years left. Why not have him for, you know, until you find what you need? You finally have a running game. You finally have a respectable running game. Your defense is stepping up miraculously, or for most people it would be like about damn time. You need a quarterback that can, you know, that has a track record of success, I guess. Eli isn't perfect. Eli is a bad clock manager. Tom Coughlin is too. But in Jacksonville, they'll take it. Trust me, they'll take it. They need anything close to Mark Brunell. Anything. Anything close to Mark Brunell, they'll take it. And then, well, I don't know what you do with Blake Bortles. Y'all know how I feel about Blake Bortles. It sucks that you got to give up on the kid, but you know, you kind of gotta do something, man. And then, like, I proposed that, and then Jacksonville will give up T.J. Yeldon, Allen Hurns, who's somehow in the doghouse, and a 4th round pick. T.J. Yeldon um, you know, you give the Giants, who can't run the ball to save their life, you get him a guy who you know, he's been, you know, buried behind Chris Ivory and Leonard Fournette. You give him an opportunity to showcase what he can do, showcase why he can be a feature back. Of course, in Alabama, he's playing behind who was he playing behind? Was he behind Eddie Lacy, or was he behind Derrick Henry? But he was a backup in Alabama. So now he gets to be the feature back. Let's hope he doesn't turn into Felix Jones. Thanks, Jerry. But you look at that trade. Who wouldn't want to do that? Because in the Giants' case, they need to move on. And I'm not saying this as a Cowboys fan. You know, I'm saying this, you look at the season that they're having. You look at the offensive line that they have. Eli is going to be torn in half behind that offensive line. Shout out to Eric Flowers, because, you know, that's going to be the guy that's going to get him fucked up. And so you do away with Eli Manning. You also remove all that money off, so you can have some flexibility in the offseason to bring in who you want to bring in. I'm going to say Brandon Marshall is not coming back next year. I predict Brandon Marshall might just retire, do his TV shit, and just kind of ride in the sunset. You know what I'm saying? You know, Beckham's going to come back strong. Sterling Shepard's going to come back strong. You know, you got a nice young tight end. Just get a running back. You might be bad enough to get the Barkley kid from Penn State. Or you might just go with your quarterback that you drafted, who I feel like, you know, if he can manage the game, minimize turnovers, and that offense right there, because he's definitely mobile enough to, you know, run around from the Eric Flowers caused bullets that's been thrown out there. Give him a shot. See what he can do. Now, of course, you will have to do that after you trade Eli, because I don't think, while Eli's there, I don't think he's gonna want to sit on the bench. Why would you do that? He's won 2 Super Bowls. I think he earned that right to play. Especially when he's healthy. Play when he's healthy. So that's an interesting trade that I thought was very intriguing, man. Who wouldn't want to do that trade? Eli to Jacksonville. I think for both sides, it'll be pretty good. Coming up on the Chris Rocket Podcast, we're gonna do NBA predictions. You'll listen to the Chris Rocket Podcast.
Yes, officer, I know it doesn't look good, these guys running a train on me and all, but the thing is, I'm an addict. A sex addict.
Finally, a meta-addiction you can blame all your other addictions and insecurities on. That's right. It's time to give personal accountability one in the can. Read 13 Steps to Heaven today.
13 Steps to Heaven. Available wherever books are still sold.
On the inside, you're an adventurer because nothing impresses people like having hobbies.
I want to get that outdoorsy vibe, but I'm not an outdoorsy person. I really hate nature.
On the outside, nothing impresses people like Crevice. The outdoor outfitter that gives you exciting hobbies and ensures you look the part. Hobbies aren't about doing something, they're about seeming interesting. Sports aren't about actually participating, it's about looking the part in the bar. Let's face it, guys into extreme sports could probably get a lot of chicks if they weren't self-absorbed turds.
Crevice.
We help you take the inside outside. Crevice, never stop pretending.
Welcome back to the Chris Rocket Podcast. The season don't start until the 17th, but by the time this show re-airs next week, the season would have been already started. So I'm going to do my predictions in this episode. My playoff predictions. Now I have a full list of of how I feel like teams are going to be finished. I'm going to share that later. But here are my playoff teams for each conference, and I also included 3 of my friends who has their predictions for playoff teams from each conference. As you see right there, I got Golden State at the first seed. I got Cleveland as the first seed in the East. In the West, follow Golden State, San Antonio. We got Houston. OKC is the top 4 seeds. Now, this is all based on record. Now, of course, they've done this where, well, I guess they switched it up. So never mind. I was gonna say top 4 seeds, 3 division winners, and blah 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 blah. But I think they've done away with that. So forget what I just said. So Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, OKC, Minnesota, Portland, Clippers, Denver. Now, missing on this list is Memphis and Utah. Memphis, losing Zebo. I think that he was the heart and soul of that team. I think, that team is pretty much in transition. I don't think they're in full rebuild just yet. I think they're in transition. They're really getting some shit together over there. Utah, losing Gordon Hayward. I think that's going to take a hit for that offense. Defensively, I think they still kind of, you still got Gobert. Joe Ingles is still there. You bring in Rubio, who is a pretty decent defensive point guard. You're going to have efficient possessions with him. But, you might just not score enough, especially in that tough Western Conference. So I left them out. And so taking their spots would be, Denver and Portland. I think Denver, that team with 99 power forwards, I think they will, and I'm also anticipating something. They're going to get something for Kenny Fareed. If not, then oh well. He's going to be an integral part in their rotation. That team can play. You bring in Millsap on a team that's already, to me, is one of the best teams chemistry-wise. Almost all of their forwards can shoot mid-range. Mostly all of their guards can guard one through 3. So, that team could be very sneaky. And right behind Denver Nuggets, I got the Sacramento Kings in the 9th spot. I'm not going to reveal my top 15 until the very, very end. But, Sacramento, I feel so great about them. They're a year or 2 away from really just, making some noise, but man, they rattling in the back, man. So keep an eye on the Kings and Portland as well. Portland, I just feel like, you know, they're maturing. They really, you know, left a bad taste in their mouth last year. Not really getting to where they need to be. So, and then Nurkic is actually better than what I thought he was. The dude can play. You know, it sucks that he had to leave from Denver, but yo, that dude can hoop. I didn't know he had a low post game like that, man. You know, stay away from the foul trouble. The dude gonna be nice. And for the Eastern Conference, we got Cleveland, Boston. No surprise there. The Wizards, Milwaukee. I got Miami at that 5th spot. Toronto, Detroit, and then Charlotte. Surprisingly, I didn't have Philly making the playoffs. As you can see, everybody else did. But I gotta see, because when I'm watching these preseason games, I'm watching Philly. It's like, you know, they're like, okay, you bring it down this time. Okay, then I'm gonna bring it down this time. I don't see a lot of flow in their offense. Maybe, I don't know, Embiid didn't play any preseason games. But I didn't see a lot of flow in their offense. You know, Simmons, you know, he had flashes or whatever, but you know, Fultz, you know, they gotta show me a little something. I got them 9th, but if they don't show me anything where I can be like, okay, there it is, then they're not gonna make the playoffs, in my opinion. They're gonna be nice, but they're not gonna make the playoffs. They'll be very entertaining, but they're not gonna make the playoffs. Charlotte, to me, and they lost Batum, but Malik Monk, that dude can hoop. Of course, he can hoop in college. But, I mean, how many hoopers? Doug McDermott led the freaking college NCAA in scoring. What is he doing now? But do you have dudes that can score? Do you got dudes that can hoop? Like, this dude is a fucking beast. I think he's going to come in and he's going to really help. And dare I say, Dwight Howard, you know, if your sole purpose is to come in, hey, Dwight, we want you to rebound and block shots, and that's it. You know, and me as Chris Rocket have my mind set on, okay, Dwight, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks. By that dynamic right there, I think he's doing a damn good job. If you're telling me, all right, 17, 13, and 3, no. Hell no. No low post pressure. Do not give him. Do not. Occasional, you know, alley-oop, sure. But Dwight Howard as a low post, you know, option, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm out on that. But Dwight Howard as a rebounder and rim protector, yeah, hell yeah. So, and I think that's what they're doing out there. They're like, you know what? And surprisingly, Dwight, you know, he's cool with that. And to me, you know, when you're at that age where, like, you know what? Why not get easy shots? Because to his credit, he does know how to move around to get that space, to get that easy basket. And of course, with his activity on the boards, he gonna get 2 or 3 putbacks. So, you know, with the exception of the Batum injury, which will really hurt them in the beginning, Charlotte gonna make some noise. I don't know how far they're gonna make it in the playoffs, and of course, being the 8th seed, you're going against Cleveland, which spells doom for whoever's going against LeBron in the first round, because he never lost in the first round. But they're gonna make it hard for him, because by then Batum will be back, and Batum, he can guard 1 through 5. And so, and then in Miami, the 5th seed, like, I felt like if they would have made the playoffs last year, they would have made some noise all the way in the second round. I mean, who knows what could have, would have happened. But that team defensively will be on your ass. They brought everybody back. They add Olynyk. Bam Adebayo, that team right there will pressure you for 48 minutes, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then they can fucking shoot threes like it's no tomorrow. You get shot blocking from every fucking where. I think that team is gonna be sneaky good. They're gonna be knocking on the door in their field. They'll probably be 1 or 2 games behind Milwaukee for that 4th seed, but that team right there, I think that will be the team to watch. And the fact that they're in that sweet spot at that 5th seed, to where it's like you're basically going against an even team. Now, 6th seed, 5th and 6th seed is where you want to be. 7th seed, obviously, you're going against Boston or Cleveland, depending on how LeBron feels at the time. But that 5th seed, that's an even matchup with that 4th seed in the playoffs. So I got Miami right there. And as you can see with Kill, the surprise I see is the fact that he has Utah making the playoffs, which is like, whoa, But I can't get mad at these picks, man. They're all pretty solid. Course said, he got Phoenix making the playoffs. We've seen crazier shit happen in the NBA, so I'm not knocking nobody's picks, man. But it's always fun to really get a perspective from a lot of people. I guess for the most part, we all got Minnesota making the playoffs. We all got Oklahoma City making the playoffs. We all got Houston being seeded number 3 for the Eastern Conference. We all agree pretty much on the top 3. And of course they all got Philly making the playoffs. I still need to see a little bit more with those cats, man. I do feel like that's a very talented team, but they got to show me a little bit more. And now for the rest of my picks for the finishes of the East Conference. For the 9th seed, I got Sacramento. I got Utah. I have the Lakers in the 11th seed, followed by New Orleans, Dallas, Memphis, and Phoenix. I really thought of flip-flopping Memphis and Phoenix. I wouldn't dare to put my Mavericks at the bottom of the list. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't fucking dare. Not with Dirk on the team. Yes, I do. Memphis might not be as low, but you look at that freaking Western Conference team, you almost feel fucking bad for putting Memphis that low. But that's just how it is. No doubt nowadays. Phoenix, they just need a little bit more. Brandon Knight is out with an ACL injury, so Tyler Ulis, who really was hooping last year, man. They're a young team. They're gonna keep growing. Josh Jackson, I feel like he's gonna come in, be a dark horse for the Rookie of the Year, get some minutes, and ball. For the Eastern Conference, I got Philly, Indiana Pacers. Sorry, Z. The Knicks, Brooklyn, Orlando, Chicago, and the horrible Atlanta Hawks. No surprise there. The Atlanta Hawks are clearly, I got them as the very worst team in the NBA. Brooklyn, to me, that's going to be interesting. New York and Indiana. Like, for me, Indiana on paper is a playoff team. But I got to see how those pieces gel. To me, the key is Sabonis. Because you know what you're getting out of Oladipo. You're going to get 15 to 17 points a game. Miles Turner is now going to be your focal point of the offense. But Sabonis, what the fuck do you do with him? Well, of course, I know what you do with him. But what are they going to do with him? How many open looks is he going to get? So, if he can give you 11 to 13 points a game, I think they're a playoff team, because that's just another threat that they got coming off the bench, because you got Thad playing the 4. Unless you have Sabonis playing the 4 and Thad playing the 3. But that's not going to happen. But in New York, they have so much talent on that team, but it's just not going to be put together that way. Hardaway, he's probably going to score average like 16, 17 a game. But, it's not their time. they're probably like another 3 to 4 years away. 3 to 4 years away from being a nice seed, that is. But that will complete my complete finishes of the Western Conference and Eastern Conference. I also did awards, and a couple of my friends did awards as well. For me, I'm just gonna do mine. The MVP, I got LeBron James. If you look around, I told myself there better not be one damn vote of MVP from the Houston Rockets, the Clippers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and not be from the Golden State Warriors either. Like, for what? And I picked LeBron because really, if you really look at that team, statistically, they downgraded. You lose a 25 point per game score, and you bring in a 17 point per game score and an 18 point per game score. Which I guess that's 35 over 25. But like, you still gotta hold that shit together, because essentially, Dwayne Wade is what, 34, 35. LeBron is, I think he's 33. Derrick Rose is 29. Kyrie is 25, 24, whatever the fuck he is. He's going on a team with Gordon Hayward. I think he's 27 or some shit like that. LeBron is on a team full of, these guys are old. So he has to weather that storm over there. Do I care? I will pick Dirk every damn year. But, just thinking of how the pulse of the league is, LeBron, who can essentially win this shit every fucking year. With the amount of turnover that's happening in this league, you still got to play at a high level. You still got to have your teammates playing at a high level, and I think that's what he does. And if you ask yourself, okay, well, for Houston, James Harden has to do that same thing with Chris Paul, and Russell Westbrook with PG and Melo. If OKC ends up being the number 1 seed, then then you have to pretty much gotta take a look over there. Russ got it. If Russ to get a triple-double, it would be LeBron. But Russ got the triple-double. Russ got he averaged a triple-double. James Harden, just basically just kicking it out to 3-point shooters. I'm not knocking his game or whatever, but I can average 6 assists on that team. That was a biased statement, by the way. All right, 6th man of the year, I got Eric Gordon. Lou Williams is a real close second. I don't know, for the Clippers, they got so many, different pieces over there that they can use, but I feel like Eric Gordon will have a much more opportunity, because now he has 2 guys that's going to actually find him instead of just one. And I think that's going to make a big difference. I got Eric Gordon as the 6th man of the year. Defensive player of the year, can we finally put some respect on Hassan Whiteside's name? Like, I don't like how the defensive player of the year is being voted. To me, it's just pretty much like announcers is pretty much like hyping that shit up. I don't like it at all. I remember when the big man used to win that shit, and that was really, pretty much, the staple. Because who's the most important defensive guy on the team? The shot blocker. Hassan Whiteside is a great shot blocker. He's the anchor of that Miami Heat team. But I guess you got to make the playoffs. Maybe if Miami makes the playoffs, maybe he has some respect on his name. Or Gobert. Don't give me Draymond Green. I like Draymond Green. I like his passion, but Whiteside. Come on now. Whiteside needs to win that award. Executive of the year, Sam Presti. And I think this is a fucking no-brainer. You get a team to take on an Oladipo contract. You deserve to win without the season even started. Give him the award right fucking now. You trade Oladipo for Paul George. You win Executive of the Year. That's it. And then you save money. You save money. Sam Presti should win this hands down. I don't want to hear nothing else. Look, Mark Cuban. If Mark Cuban wins 70 games, I think you still give it to Sam Presti. Cause that's just a boss ass move, man. Most improved, I got Joseph Nurkic, but also I got Dirk Nowitzki right there. But that's a biased statement. But Joseph Nurkic, I just feel like, man, start him and watch him work. Another good pick is Miles Turner, and Nisha brought that up. I gotta get this on record. She got 6th Man of the Year, Tyler Johnson. Wait, what? 6th Man of the Year? Yeah, she got 6th Man of the Year, Tyler Johnson. That might happen. But most improved, Miles Turner, I think that can happen too, man. I almost scratched out Nurkic, but I always go with my first mind. But Miles Turner is also a good pick. I want to make sure I say that, and just to give her props, just in case it does happen. And I'm not hearing too many people saying Miles Turner as a most improved player, contender. But I got Nurkic. I'm gonna stick with it. But I want to make sure I give her props. She got Miles Turner, which is also a good pick. Rookie of the Year, we pretty much all in consensus. Dennis Smith Jr. And I think that's just based on the fact that he might just be the rookie that's playing a lot more other than that crew in Philly. I'm watching play in the preseason. I just, I feel like he's all right. He's all right. I need to see a little bit more passion. I feel like he missed Dirk on a couple of pick and pops, easy pick and pops, just to shoot a difficult shot. He needs to, see the floor just a little bit better. I know he's a score first point guard, but you can't just do a no look pass. You can't show me a no look pass and then miss Dirk on a wide open three where he's coming off a pick and pop. You gotta, come on. You gotta show me a little something, man. So let's see. Coach of the Year, Mike D'Antoni. But another pick, Tom Thibodeau. Nisha said Tom Thibodeau. Kill said Brett Brown. If Philly makes the playoffs, then that's a no-brainer. Brett Brown wins. But I said Mike D'Antoni. I got Houston as a 3 seed, which probably is that 55 to 57 range in wins. When you lose half your bench and you still win 55 games, I think you deserve Coach of the Year. Tom Thibodeau, he basically just get his boys back pretty much. You get Taj Gibson, you get Jimmy Butler, so you essentially getting your boys back. You get Jeff Teague. If that team is top 5 in defense, I'm gonna say no, top 7. If they're top 7 defense, I think he deserves Coach of the Year. But we shall see. And also back to the Rookie of the Year. You know they're gonna try to hype up Lonzo Ball. And if they do that shit, they should be a fucking shame of themselves, man. But yeah, those are my NBA predictions. Those are my NBA award predictions. Just to get a rundown on Kill, MVP, LeBron James, Coach of the Year, Brett Brown, Defensive Player of the Year, Draymond Green, boo. Sixth Man of the Year, he got Lou Williams. Most Improved, Executive of the Year, and Rookie of the Year, they are the same as mine's. Nisha, she got LeBron as MVP, Tom Thibodeau's Coach of the Year. Tyler Johnson is Sixth Man of the Year. Miles Turner, Most Improved. And our Executive Year, Defensive Player of the Year are the same. Our Executive Year and Rookie of the Year are the same. And Defensive Player of the Year, she got Rudy Gobert, which is a good pick. So yeah, those are the NBA predictions. Coming up in the Chris Rocket podcast, we're going to do our usual thing with the NFL. Week 5 reaction, week 6 productions. Week 5 reactions, week 6 predictions. You are listening to the Chris Rocket podcast. I'm glad you're still with me. This is a long ass segment.
Adrenaline junkie? Isn't it time you tried Ego Chaser and took things to the limit? Enjoy these sexy shots of extreme sports and base jumping. But we mostly sell energy bars to desperate middle-aged men who haven't played sports for years, but are suddenly obsessed with triathlons. Hey, you could be a super athlete, even though you have an office job and a family you ignore. You don't have time for real friends. You're a warrior. It's an energy bar that's all about you. How big is your Ego Chaser?
I used to enjoy lighting up a bowl of black tar heroin at work, but with today's climate, you can't smoke anywhere. That's why I got the Electro-Toke electronic pipe. You hear that? It sounds like I'm freebasing smoking a pipe, but it's electronic. Looks like a bass pipe, feels like one, tastes like one, and most of all, it feels real. That's because the real chemicals you enjoy are being delivered by harmless water vapor. It uses highly sophisticated micro-automation technology to make the consuming of hard drugs healthy, discreet, and pleasurable. And it's completely safe. Pick from many different cartridges and flavors. Peanut butter flavored meth, cheesecake cocaine, bubblegum flavored heroin, just to name a few. Finally, there's a safe and discreet way of blazing a bowl.
Visit electrotokesystem.com today.
Welcome back to the Chris Rocket podcast. Week 5 came and went. By the way, for every reaction, I'm gonna say came and went. So just be prepared for that. I just noticed that I do that a lot, so I might as well just keep doing it. Yeah, week 5 came and went. Last week I went 8-6. Very mediocre, but no losing record. We have gone through 5 weeks of no losing record, but we have been teetering down. Last 3 weeks, 9 wins, 8 wins after going 13-3 in week 2, man. We gotta pick it up. Man. 8-6 last week, and for the season I am 49-29 at 62.8%. I am a full 5 games behind Roy, who has just been killing. I'm 1 game behind Rodgers. That's all that matters. Yeah, that's all that matters. So, this week's pick, we're going to start with tonight's pick. We got Philly and Carolina. I have Philly. That team just been balling. But, Carolina been balling too. But I'm going to go with Philly. Just because. Chicago at Baltimore. I'm going to get Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to really throw some shit at Mitch Trubisky. I just think Mitch is going to take a few risks. He's a guy that has a good arm. He's going to take a few risks, and he might get in trouble. So I got Baltimore right there. Cleveland at Houston is an Irish pick. Cleveland has went with Kevin Hogan as their starter. So woo-wee. Good luck there, Kevin. Green Bay at Minnesota. I might just switch this pick. I had Minnesota. I'm going to switch to Green Bay as we speak right now. This is the first on-air switch. So I'm going to go with Green Bay instead of Minnesota. I just think that I just wonder why the hell did I even pick Minnesota to begin with. Yeah. Brain fart. All right, so Detroit at New Orleans. I have New Orleans. That is a toss-up game to me, but I'm gonna go with the more dynamic offense, and they're saying Matt Stafford is banged up, so I'm gonna lean on Drew Brees. New Orleans will take that game. Miami at Atlanta. I'm going to take Atlanta. When your coach has been caught snorting that powder, snorting that booger sugar, when your coach has been smoking when your coach been snorting that yayo. But then again, that is Miami though, man. You know, they got that white down there. They've been trafficking that white down there. You know, it's a distraction for that team. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta. New England, the New York Jets. The Jets has been a surprise team this year, but guess what? Surprise, bitch! You're not gonna beat the New England Patriots. I got the Patriots. San Francisco at Washington. I'm gonna have Washington. I think Washington is the better offensive team. They're gonna run all over San Francisco. Sorry, San Francisco. Tampa Bay at Arizona. I have to really think about this. I made these picks before. Like, as soon as the schedule came out, I made these picks. So I'm gonna stick with Tampa Bay. I gotta check the pulse of Arizona and see how they're gonna use Adrian Peterson. So I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. Now this is a good game. The Rams at the Jaguars. I got the Rams right here. So far, everybody has Jacksonville, but I'm gonna, they still got Blake Bortles over there. He'll probably throw a couple picks. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. Another good game, Pittsburgh at Kansas City. Like I said, I'm gonna pick Kansas City today. Tell me otherwise. You feel me? They keep running. They keep going at it. They keep balling. Kareem Hunt is a beast. Tyreek Hill is a beast on special teams and offensively. I'm going with the Chiefs. And not to say that Pittsburgh is dysfunctional. I don't think they're dysfunctional. I just feel like Kansas City is just a better team. And I just feel like, Kansas City is going to score more points. That's all. I don't believe that Pittsburgh is dysfunctional. San Diego at Oakland. Like, they trying to rush back Derek Carr. You don't rush back a back injury. Trust me, I know Tony Romo had 2 or 3 back injuries. You don't rush. You rush him back quick. It's gonna linger, and he's gonna need back surgery again. And the regular runs, the regular slides, the regular hit that he gonna take is gonna feel 3 times worse. So I'm gonna go with San Diego. If they rush back Derek Carr, he's gonna get knocked out again. So I will rest him one more time. Make sure that he's 100% and not 80%. So I got San Diego. I got Los Angeles Chargers right there. The Sunday night game, we got the Giants at Denver. That's an obvious pick. We're gonna pick Denver. When you lose your top 3 wide receivers, I don't know about Sterling Shepard, but Brandon Marshall's out for the season. Beckham's out for the season. Dwayne Harris is out. It'll be amazing if the Giants can win. And of course, the Monday night game, we got the Indianapolis Colts at Tennessee. I got Tennessee, even though the Colts ain't slouches, man. But they got to stop the run. I got Tennessee. Let's hope I do good on these picks, man. Let's hope that I can get back to winning 10 games. I only got 2 this year. So far, the leader in 10 wins, Roy has 4. Who else? Z has 3. Baez has 3. Baez been killing, man. So I'm in pretty good company. I got 2. But I like to rack up these 10-win weeks, man. See, the 10-win weeks is what really keeps you afloat. You feel me? Especially during the times where they have buys, because now we have 14. We have 14 picks. So getting these 10 wins between weeks 5 and 12, that's what's gonna separate you at the very end. So I gotta rack up these 10 week weeks, man. So this has been a show. Thank you for joining me on this Chris Rocket podcast, man. Even though I don't have a lot of people viewing, all I need is one. Like I said, I do this for fun. And this is not a plea to have everybody come listen to it, because, like I said in the first couple episodes, I don't care. Not to say I don't care about, I just do this just to do it. I do it because I love it, But if you are listening, I appreciate you for listening. I do this for whoever this is listening, whoever it is listening to. Whoever that is listening. I like to get tongue-tied. Trust me, your girl said that too. But I do this because I love it. All it takes is one person to listen. Give me a phone call, and then boom. I be in your earbuds. I'll be on your computer. I'll be on your radio, giving you that real perspective of sports. By the way, I would never sign to the 4-letter network. I don't care how much they pay me. That's for real. I don't care. But yeah, thanks for joining me on the Chris Rocket Podcast. You will see me next Thursday, man, where we're going to be reacting from the opening night in the NBA. Could you believe November is right around the corner, and then we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. I'm so fucking hungry. And then my 30th birthday is coming. Let me get the fuck out of here, man. I'll see you guys next Thursday. You have been listening to the Chris Rocket Podcast. Stay safe, y'all.